Okay,
What do you want to borrow?
the January board meeting of OTA, now in session. Let's do the roll call. I'm here. Bob? Here. Dell? Coming. Christine, if we know, is absent. Andrea?
Here.
Or should I say Miss Miller?
Either.
Okay. And Dylan, we thought would be here,
He told me he was going to be here, but
Okay.
we'll see.
and we know that Adelaide is not coming.
Do that.
Okay, sounds good. So first order of business is the pledge. I begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Public, I don't have any speaker slips. Okay, board member comments. I have a couple. I inadvertently left the real estate bullet off the agenda. I apologize for that. It will be back on next month. We do have information and things are moving. And I think that was the only thing I had that I wrote down anyway. Oh, yeah, sorry, I missed one. The school board election date is on the consent agenda. I'm a little nervous about picking it with just the three of us, but we can pick it and revise it later if we want. The bylaws are in process. The committee has met twice. We're restating and amending the bylaws and generating the new elections policy. That will be distributed, I hope, to all the board members and for public comment for the next board meeting's approval. If there are things in the election policy we have to adjust because of our choice of the date today, we'll do that. But I wanted everybody to know that that's what where we're headed. I think that was it. That was it. So I think I will invite some discussion at this point on the date. Does anybody have any opinions about when?
I'll say the earliest we can.
I believe the same thing.
What?
Earlier, the better.
Am I able to?
Yeah. I mean,
So I, because the bylaws are gonna be passed at the February date, it feels like the election would happen after those were completed.
yeah.
So, I believe our February date is the 26th. What day is the February?
It's 25th.
25th. So maybe like, right there, the 1st of March might be a time that would be appropriate under that premise.
I would say as long as we can get good records of the parents to be able to do the mailing with the announcement and also announce for nominations and have a nomination process in place. I think March 1st would be a little quick.
Okay.
Typically, I think I haven't gotten into it deeply, but I think probably on a regular basis, the elections would happen like in May.
Correct.
Yeah, they were always late
May.
Late May, right. In this case, because we're trying to hurry things up a little bit to get a more populated board, we'll just add whatever time there is to this next set of terms. And there will be staggered terms in the policy. So the board won't all be retiring at the same time. So maybe if we targeted for seating the board at the April meeting. So having the election sometime between February 25th and like March 15th. I don't really know how long it takes.
So I mean, my experience with it is honestly minimal. It has been the board run, and as far as that goes. But whenever the vote date is, getting that information back was instantaneous. So like that stuff was, you know,
Okay,
there was a deadline of when people, you know, when it was sent out, when people had to vote. And then they had those votes instantly with that time frame. And so they shut off that, at that period of time, and wherever the votes applied, they, you know, that's who was in office.
okay, without reference to, the mailing that you just did directly, how fast are people responding?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying, it's not
Okay.
something that's ever been in my office, it's always been with the board.
Okay,
A board member always ran the election,
okay,
they would work with us to get the Power School emails and make
Mhm.
sure that, everybody had, because I believe every student, there's 2 votes per student, that are issued. And so the main problem that we ran into was that secondary email sometimes, getting it. And so I know that took, some time because there would be some repeats of people that had used the same email. And so that was the issue. I believe we had narrowed it down in the last election, which now has been like 3 years ago, but, I think it was like, I wanna say it was 13 people, then it was 8 people that had the repeat, and they cleaned that up. And so once that was cleaned up, they had, they had issued a date, which, once the time frame, I think it was closed at 5 PM or whatever, and then they printed that data at that moment, and then
Okay.
they locked it down.
People need enough time to think about it and,
Yeah,
talk to people they would like to nominate or nominate themselves.
yeah, so what would happen in the past is, I believe most people were self-nominated. I'm not really sure if it was that people were nominating each other, but then once there was a deadline for nominations. And then with that, a person had to basically put forward a profile of, their past or their history. And then all that was issued out in the election piece.
Okay,
So you could read through everybody who was running and, how they're affiliated with the school, what their background is career-wise, and then you could make an educated vote as to who you felt appropriate.
when is the, March board meeting? What date?
Yeah, I was trying to catch that too before.
What modem do we use for the voting system?
It's the 18th.
Is the 18th?
Yep.
Good, quick draw.
I was a week off. I was going backwards to
18.
find it.
Well, what if we said that, we set a date today of March 15th?
That's a Sunday.
Oh, March 13th?
What was it
That's
for
a
the
Friday.
nominations?
No, this is for the election.
Election.
Okay, so then
So
we'd have to
all the
backwards
results
plan
have
from
to be-
that.
All the results have to be in by March 13th,
Okay, so March 13th, we need to set a time too.
5 PM.
Okay, 5 PM, March 13th, and then when would nominations need to be in then?
Let's say
You wanna
March
do,
1st?
well, we can do that. What I was gonna say is, do you wanna do the February board meeting, so that way they could come and introduce themselves also at the public forum, which would be February 25th.
Okay, that's close enough to March. Yeah, let's do that. So nominations, so if
So-
nominations collected and anybody that wants to come introduce themselves,
Yeah, we could say that
that's the
would be,
closing of nominations.
yeah, we could say it could be finalized on the 24th, so that would give us a day to see who's gonna be here and so on and so forth. Does that
Yeah,
work?
yeah, that works.
Okay, and we can set 5 PM as the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So then
Wow,
on
so
February
this is-
25th, they would do their introductions if they would like to.
Yeah, this is the vote, and this is. the
Okay.
Nominations.
Can I get a motion?
I,
You need a motion first.
I
Just that, I'm motioning to move forward with these dates.
I motion to move forward with these dates.
Second.
I'm better at seconding.
Any discussion?
I think we just did that.
All in favor? No, I gotta do a roll call. Bob,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yeah.
and I'm a yes. Okay. All right, so that's set. And changeable based on what we come up with for the rest of the policy. But I think we can make a note that there's an exception that we're gonna add time to the next set of terms to make up for the difference.
Sure. It's a couple months, which would make.
Okay.
sense.
Okay, so no student report. Ms. Miller?
Awesome. 1 second. Hi everyone, happy new year. Can't believe it's already week 3 of quarter 3 of the school year. After a very busy quarter 2, this month has felt pretty great. Been a good reset for the staff. We're excited to tackle on the second half of the year though. This week students are finishing up their iReady math and reading diagnostics. These assessments provide teachers with the detailed mid-year data to identify students' strengths and weaknesses. Teachers will also use the data to monitor growth, goal setting, and personalized instruction. Teachers are also in full swing of quarter 3 PBL projects. I provided the handout tonight for all of the outlines of the projects students are working on in each grade level. So they're over there at the tables, if you didn't grab one already. The quarter 3 date is March, I want to say 19th. It's on the document up top.
Yep.
So
Good to see.
all is welcome. It's always a really good day for our school. Finally, just wanted to share how our staff has used our valuable weekly minimum days this past month. We are always very appreciative of this time and want you to know we never take it for granted. These last few weeks, we've had PLC time, we've had our grade level teams, and then this coming Friday is our SOS meeting. Thank you.
I have a comment. I want to give big thank you to the teachers working together as a team on these PBLs. At the beginning of every year, I meet with the teachers and we agree on some goals that we have for this school year. One of our goals this year was concerned vertical planning, where different grades teaching similar topics engage in vertical planning and could easily collaborate on the PBL project. This group of teachers went way beyond that. They had environment as the theme for every grade level. And each grade level pulled out their lesson on environment from their science unit. And all that is working together. And then the 8th grade will use all of that information to plan a community because they've already had all of that information. It's unbelievable the teamwork that we have with these teachers. Now we know there's going to be one exception in 4th grade, but that could not be avoided. Okay, that doesn't mean she's not a team player because she is a big team player.
Of course she is.
But big thank you to all of you.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah, it's always been a really good success. I think we just keep getting better and better, like even over the last
Mhm.
Art, when you said vertical, that's grade to grade, what you meant, vertical planning.
Yeah,
Okay,
And this is
Vertical alignment.
a vertical alignment, yeah.
Okay.
That's what we do in our PLC times a lot too. So
Okay.
that was our last minimum day where we work in our grade level teams and we talk about the things that first graders are moving on to 2nd grade, 3rd grade, so they're all able to work with their curriculums and such.
Yeah, a lot of times at schools, you'll have multiple classes per grade level, so you're working on horizontal alignment, but here, every school you want to work on vertical alignment, it makes it easier because we don't have horizontal alignment.
Mhm.
So we work a lot on vertical alignment and how to do that. So that's one of our, once a month, we have a PLC where the teachers work on making sure, that the things that are coming into them from a certain grade are at standard and they talk to the teacher below them and talk to the teacher above them to make sure that everything's in them.
Cool, great. I understand Melody is not gonna be here, so
Do I really have to go out there?
no,
Okay.
no, but you do have to read it.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, I was sorry Melody couldn't be here today. So we are, at a total of 206 students, which is 3 more than last month. We have 19 in kindergarten, 25 in first grade, 19 in second grade, 24 in third grade, 24 in fourth grade, 24 in fifth grade, 28 in sixth grade, 22 in seventh grade, and 21 in eighth grade. And that's an increase in 2 kids in fifth grade and 1 kid in second grade from last month.
Excellent, excellent. And I went out of order again.
I'm sorry, I just listened to you and followed your instructions.
Yeah, no, I know. Thank you for that.
OTA Foundation.
Yeah, the OTA Foundation, but it's, oh,
She just
oh,
arrived.
there you are. Well,
Good timing.
I skipped you less this time, so.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. You're up.
Thank you. I think we're really excited about everything that's happened. So, since the last, am I muted? No. Since the last meeting, we had, an amazing holiday, events. We had, the appreciation, final, event of the year, which was before Christmas. And then that was lovely with the Aspire Club and the Aspire Center, and it was a really great turnout. We had a lot of like volunteer appreciation that day. Last week, because this is just only the second week or third week of the year, we had Glow Night, which was fantastic. We made actually over $2,000 there. That was on raffle tickets and food, and we have lots of food left over, so we're going to be using that again because they're all able to be reused for other events. And it was a great success, leading to our middle school dance, which is going to be happening on the last Friday of February, which I believe is the 27th. And we're really excited about that. All the middle school parents and the class parents, and including some of our additional sixth grade parents, are all helping out to organize it. And we're really excited. I will let the organization announce what the theme and everything is going to be, but we are holding it here at OTA. So we think it's going to be a really awesome event, and something that the kids will be really excited about, because I know the grade eights and all contributed to the eighth grade ideas for the middle school dance. So that's coming up in February. We did have, I'm just going back a little bit, but we did have the fifth grade luncheon earlier this month as well. It was a great success, very delicious. Our fourth graders are going to be helping or organizing the next teacher luncheon, which is happening in February. And then following that, we have a number of very important events, including our next big fundraiser, which is our spring gala / fiesta. We're still working on that right now, and we're really excited to be working with past founders and our volunteers to really make it really a great event. We are looking at possibly doing it as a full day event, which allows, which is also on the same day as Grandparents' Day, which allows for our grandparents to be involved and our kids to be involved, and also the adults. So a lot more information to come there. I think right now we've been having great foundation meetings. We had one that was last week, and that was a very big success. We were on time, except for about 7 minutes, but that's okay, because I think it was a really good opportunity for us to get things rolling, and we're really excited about what's to come. So that's it. Okay.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
What day is Grandparents' Day?
Grandparents' Day is April I want to say it's the 24th. And it'll be, we also have the following week is the Scholastic Book Fair, but we're hoping to move it up a few days so that we can actually take advantage also, not take advantage, but you know.
That's exactly what.
Yeah, this is smart, yeah.
Jennifer, I spoke with Fred Grand,
Okay,
you met at the president of the chamber, right?
yes.
He let me know that there are between 10 and $30 million worth of renovations going on in the hotels around here. So he's going around to see if he can find if there's an exhibit or a presentation space that's larger than the church
Uh-huh.
that we could make affordable for your events.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also spoke to Simona Valenchute, who's the CEO of Oasis. Now they have facilities in East County in La Mesa and in Rancho Bernardo.
Uh-huh.
Really nice facility in Rancho Bernardo. The money's a little more than, quite a bit more, but not unreasonable for their space. But it is way up in Rancho Bernardo. So I don't know if that's a non-starter, but I think I spoke with Fred last week and he said he'd be back in 20 to 30 days and let me know what he found.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we'd love to sort of like, meet up with him again and sort of take a look around and see what opportunities are available. I mean, we have so many different different events going on. I know Alexis here is also working with the church so that we can have some more space for zero cost there as well. And then also we're looking at, again, holding a few more projects or a few more events here in this middle space and really making it pizzazzy. So-
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
And I am also following up on the car stuff.
Okay,
Which I
cool.
have some contact information, but I think so far, nothing has come in yet, but.
Okay.
yeah.
Also, I almost forgot, Fred's church has a group that has done like barbecues for the military, like they did one for a hospital. Or one of the organizers had done one for a whole veterans hospital.
Oh.
He said his group can't do something that large, but he was interested in finding out if we wanted to do something with the Aspire Center, maybe in our playground and do, tri-tip as a fundraiser and an event with Aspire.
That would be fantastic. I
Okay.
know, you're. right
Alexis
people are
is shaking her
right
head
here,
yes halfway through.
Alexis are both, spearheading a lot of things with Aspire, along with, Ms. Rice, who's doing, a lot of the, veteran work and also military work. So, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
well, I will copy both of you and connect you with Fred and introduce that topic.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Did I miss anybody? Thank you for being here, Dal.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Hope
being
everything
patient
is
with me.
okay.
The Toilet is in, so we're good.
Well, it's the son of a plumber, I understand how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening on that, so.
Okay, Janina, I think you're up. Are you there?
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can everyone see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Looks
wonderful.
great.
Okay, so this evening I am presenting the November monthly financial board report for OTA. So this report is as of November 30th, 2025, and it's compared against our last board approved budget, which took place at first interim. And this report is based on 201 students enrolled with 191 ADA. And we are projecting a deficit at the end of the year of $27,741. Just as a side note, is that the budget may be positively or negatively impacted dependent upon the school's final ADA number. And we won't know that till mid to late April of 2026. And so the approximate ADA for, the average funding for one full ADA is approximately $15,000. So moving on down to the year-to-date revenues as of November 30th, they are $1,268,435, which is 2% under what we currently had budgeted for this period of time. And this is mainly due to LCFF and state revenues coming in a bit slower than what we had budgeted for the end of November. And just a side note for our revenues is we do have $1 million of budgeted revenue that is based around restricted funds. So the school has to make sure that they have enough expenses to meet the compliance requirements to earn those funds. The year-to-date expenses through November 30th are $1,299,705, which is 0.6% over what we currently had budgeted. And this is mainly due to going over in the services and other operating expenditures. And this is due to educational consultants, which is currently coming in over budget, primarily due to SPED expenses with specialized therapy and One Step Ahead. So as of the last closed month of November, we are looking at a net deficit of $31,270. Is there any questions on this financial summary slide before I move on?
Quick question for you, Janina. It's Dell. Hi.
Hi.
On our last call, you'd mentioned that once that December report, I'm referring to the restricted funds. Once the December report was done, that's when you would then schedule with Devin and I'm not sure who else to go over, just to make sure that you're spending up all of that 1 million, no dollars are being left behind.
Correct. Yep. So typically December timeframe is when we sit down to go over about a halfway point to make sure that we are capturing anything that should be captured in restricted funds from at least July to December. Anything that hasn't been recognized, we make sure to do a true up and do recognize those expenses. And then we do the same thing at the end of the year as well. So we'll be doing that in June as well.
So are we tracking to spend all the money?
So as of right now, last closed month of November, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but it'll be something that I have on our next standing call.
Okay, so for February.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that, for the last closed month of December. And so typically with last closed months is that we have 15 days. So as of January 15th, we just got December closed, and I'll be working on producing those financials and sitting down at our next standing call with Devin.
Okay, thank you.
I had actually asked if we needed to move board meeting dates to be able to move it so we could get the previous months in the next month's board meeting. But the problem is that there are requirement deadlines to hit, plus all that information has to be prepared and then out to us and the public 72 hours ahead of the actual meeting. So we're just gonna leave it like it is.
Yeah, we ended up finding that the way that OTA's board meetings are currently laying is a good timing for compliance as well as the future reports for the board meeting. All right, so here we are looking at the financial snapshot of what I explained on that summary page. And next slide, we'll be going into the numbers. So here we are looking at the total budget. The total budget is, as I mentioned, we're looking at a net deficit at the end of this year of $27,741. And now going to the left, we have our actuals. These are our actual revenues, actual expenditures as of July through June. And then we have our budgeted revenues and expenditures from July to June. So I'll go through the variance column. So as I mentioned on that summary page, we are trending under for revenues. This is mainly due to LCFF as well as state revenues coming in a bit slower than what we had budgeted for this period of time. And then we have going on down to the expenses, services coming in a bit over budget, and that is mainly due to SPED expenses. Here we are looking at the monthly cash balance over time. As you can see, we are projecting a positive cash flow for the duration of this fiscal year, but cash is getting tight as we get to the months of April and May. Next slide, we have our balance sheet. So here we are looking at total assets in the amount of $1,695,343. Total liabilities in the amount of $1,260,163. which brings us to our total net assets in the amount of $435,181. So here is the restricted funds that we were just mentioning. So as you can see, right now, we need to kind of get this teed up a little bit more to make sure that we're at least at a halfway point. It seems like maybe some items that could be coded to these are not currently being coded. So we'll go through the GL, Devin and I, to kind of clean this up and make sure that we are at least at a halfway point on spending on majority of these funds. Our charter school support team, and then our looking ahead. So these are compliance items. And that concludes my presentation. Does the board have any questions for me?
I have one more, it's on your restricted funds chart,
Sure thing.
under the sped, so the sped category. Are those the funds that you'd mentioned earlier that are contributing to our deficit? I believe that's what you said. Is that right? You said that some of the sped funds are coming in higher?
Correct.
Okay, so then is that 123,504 of what the current expenses are? Is that?
That's a great question. So the way that I'm able to see that you're coming in over budget is because within and I'm going to scroll back here. Within these line items for services, there's multiple object codes. So one of those object codes is professional consulting or educational consultants. So those invoices that are coming in are SPED invoices. And I can tell that they're SPED invoices due to the vendor name. So what I end up doing in December is making sure that if any SPED invoices have been missed, that we are making sure that they are coded to 6,500 restriction. Because when the OTA office might be getting these invoices, maybe they're not coding them to SPED, but they should be going to SPED. So I kind of just do a cleanup of their GL, making sure that everything that hasn't been coded where it needs to go gets moved where it should be. So for that specific instance, I'd have to go back and look at my accounting records and see if those specific invoices were coded directly to 6,500 where they should be, or if they're just in unrestricted. But it's two separate items, because the restriction code is different than the object code, because the object code tells us we are over in the object of professional consulting, but we are showing that we are under in SPED. And this may be due to the invoices possibly not being coded to SPED.
Or them coming in later, because that happens sometimes too.
Correct.
I'm confused, but I trust that you guys will have that.
Well,
I got a little lost when the codes.
yeah,
Sorry, there's a lot that goes into it.
It wasn't your fault, it's unfamiliar, right? It's just,
Yeah.
I don't see it all the time. So yeah, your explanation was beautiful. My interpretation is what we're a little bit weak.
and in talking with Gina, predicting the SPED is tough
Yeah.
to know ahead of
Yeah.
time what that's gonna be.
Thank you.
Of course. So sorry, I hope that explains it of why restricted funds may look a bit lower than what our budget is at for the month, because we're looking at two different items, object code versus restriction.
Okay, that part makes sense. That was just the coding.
Cool.
Right. Well, is there any
Anybody else?
questions that I can answer for the board?
No? Thanks, Janina.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And just a friendly reminder, it's on the consent agenda, but I won't be putting them up on the screen. It's just those supplemental financial documents that San Diego Unified requires. So just making sure to review those because the board will be voting on them later. So thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Janina.
Janina.
And a point is, all of those documents are also online under the board agenda documents in the governance tab of the OTA website. Devin Phillips, you're up.
With my board report, I just want to start, with, the foundation held a glow party, on January 9th, I believe. And it was, from my perspective and from talking to everybody, it was a really great success. Not only did the foundation raise funds for the school, but it was also a really cool and unique experience for the community, something totally different than what we've had in the past. And I want to give a special thank you to everybody that put that on, for working outside the box and creating, this engaging event. And I think this is how we're gonna have to operate moving forward, is being creative and creating some new concepts. And I just want to thank everybody who was part of that. Then next, I would like to turn it over actually to Mr. Watts for our mid-year LCAP review. He's gonna give us that report.
Yeah, hi, everybody. For those of you that aren't aware how this works, we need to give a yearly update midway through the cycle for our yearly LCAP. What I'm going to share tonight is for to give you all about a month for the public to look it over. And then I'll ask next month to pass it through the board. So does everybody have it in front of them? All right, perfect. So what you're looking at here, we're going to go through each goal, and I'm going to go fairly quickly because it is a lot more condensed than the full LCAP. But you have the measurable objectives is the first part of each goal. And then you have the actions and measuring and reporting results. So the actual action items. Our first goal is for our LCAP is our learning community. And this the metrics on page number 2. The first one is our facilities in good repair. So I did want to mention this one first off because our goal here is to have 0 instances of our facilities not needing good repair for our fit report. However, we are in a building that it's not fit completely, but that is, we are, I still think we're doing a good job. We came in at about 90% of the facilities are in good repair. So we did that at the beginning of the school year, but I didn't want to point that one out. Because the rest of the items have to do with our staffing, our credentialing, and we are 100% in compliance in those areas. The goals, what you're looking at here, we have our budgeted expenditures for our goals, and then I have for each goal where we currently stand with our spending on each goal. The first goal 1.1, we are in line with our budgeted expenditures on our school facilities. So I'm looking at the orange part, if you're following along on the document. I'm on page 3. We are, and then the other part that I wanted to point out is the implementation level. Because we are midway through the year, most of these are going to be ongoing implementation. The next 1.2 for our staffing, we are in line with our budgeted amount as we're approximately halfway through the school year. 1.3, this is where I did want to talk about, give you a little bit of reasoning why our expenditures are below what we budgeted. And this is for our classified staffing. So we, due to some budget restraints, we are coming in to save money on the budget. We are coming in a little lower on that. So that's why these expenditures are a little bit lower than we had originally budgeted. 1.4, this is our curriculum. And this one also, I wanted to give a detailed explanation because you can see our expenditures are much lower than anticipated. And this is due primarily to because the prior year some of our materials came a little bit late. So what we're doing is we're ordering it earlier in the year and it's showing up on the previous year's budget. So the other areas we were able to have some cost cutting and reusing some of the materials. 1.5 field trips. Again, this was much lower than previous years as a cutting measure. And there was an estimate, so we are actually slightly over budget on what we had originally planned on that.
And I want to interject really quickly. That's what she was asking about. So with that, I think the other thing is like we paid the down payments for the middle school field trips, but a lot of that will come back in from parents paying their portion. And so while it looks like it's distorted now, at some calculation, we're going to be much closer to that original number once that also.
So it's prepaid expense at this point.
Yeah, but we're gonna recoup that if that makes sense.
Back to them.
It should balance out.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get back to 7,500, but we should get in that ballpark someplace, so.
And then 1.7, professional development, and this is lower than anticipated, but it's due to our purchasing practices is not happening all at the beginning of the year. We still have the remainder of the year to use those expenditures. Any questions on goal 1? All right, so goal 2. Goal 2 deals with our English language arts achievement. So our first metric has to do with our state testing. So I did want to take a minute. I don't want to steal Devin's thunder here, but we're pretty proud of the numbers that came in. And this is going to be a year behind. What we're looking at is what came out in July, I believe. So we'll get this year's over the summer, but we are for school-wide, we are in the blue, which is the highest color metric. So we are 23.6 points above standard. So we're doing quite well in our ELA achievement school-wide. Our I-rate testing is ongoing, but I expect to see quite a bit of growth by the end of the year. We're currently in our testing window for the winter testing. 2.3 is our English language learners. So a lot of this data, will be starting that in February. And we had a lot of training, so this is definitely an area that we are improving on. And in our metric number 2.5, our reclassification rate, we expect to have some of these students that are English language learners be reclassified out of the program, which is exciting. Our spending measures for iReady, that's broken down into ELA and math. It is the same program that we pay money for, but this has been fully implemented. We are in line with our budget. It's about $10,000 for each for reading, and then 10,000 for math. So we are in line with that. DTS is our program that we use to keep track of a lot of our things like the LCAP that we keep on there. So this is another instance of our purchasing practices not falling midway through the year. So we are below budget on that, but we expect that to balance out throughout the year. Goal 3, similar to goal 2, this one has to do with math and STEM achievement. And like ELA, our math achievement is also school-wide in the blue. So we are 23.6 points above standard. So we are doing excellent in both math and reading. And similarly, we're in the testing, but we expect to see quite a bit of growth in our math as well. Additionally, we are also, again, in the blue for our science testing. And this is only grades 5 and 8. But again, we are have increased by 7.6 points and are, so we increased by 7.6 points. Down below, again, our expenditure for this goal was just for the I-rate. All right, moving on to goal number 4. Goal number 4 is climate and engagement. Most of these have to do with our surveys for the upcoming LCAP, the new year for the LCAP, which we will be passing in May. Did want to point out that the LCAP committee met. So we are currently working on, we met this month and we'll continue to meet once a month leading up to our new year's LCAP. And we're working on surveys for all our educational partners. Two areas that I did want to point out at the bottom, metric 4.7 and 4.8 are our chronic absenteeism is one area of definitely improvement. We are about the same as we were last year on this. And again, it is a year behind, so we may be doing better this year, hopefully. And then our suspension rate was it was about on par with last year, slightly above. 4.1 through 4.3, we are in 4.3, we are right where we need to be on track for our mid-year expenditures. And then 4.1 and 4.2 are again due to our purchasing practices. And then finally, our total LCFF funds are coming at $2,413,636, and our LCFF supplemental concentration grants specifically were $117,298. And that concludes my presentation on the mid-year LCAP. Any questions?
Is there any place that shows trends that has a graph of, years going how far back?
Dashboard.
Dashboard, yeah, the
Is it
California
on
dashboard.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it does give a graph of the trends year to year. You can see.
Yeah, you had to do a lot of individual research to find the answers usually that you're seeking and comparing things, but
Okay.
you can do it that way.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can show you, I been around with it a lot when August or board meeting.
Okay. Just thinking in terms of, juice to put in the charter renewal.
So again, this is going to be for a month public input, and then we will move to pass the next board meeting in February.
Sounds great. Well, good work. Thanks, Curtis.
Thanks, Turner. Next thing on my list is the landslide update. I don't know if everybody's seen, but there's a wall out there finally, and we have our playground area back. So I'm just excited to be able to announce that. As often I was asked this question at the board meeting with little to no update, and I'm really excited to say we're there and it's complete. It really was done over the break as they said it was gonna be. I was shocked, but if you haven't seen the wall, it does look like some big gigantic Lego pieces that they put together. But I think the goal was for them to have a retaining wall out there that they could move in the future if they wanted for their own business. And so we're just happy to have it out there. So next thing on my list is school calendars. I did put together 3 school calendars for future reference. I think everybody got one up here.
Did you put them out there?
The only thing that the school calendars are currently missing is minimum days and when quarter breaks would be. I think depending on what calendar is selected, and nothing is going to vote tonight. This is all just an introduction. I think the teachers will want to have a pretty big say in how the quarter breaks happen, because with having Thanksgiving break and Christmas break, it really does cut into that quarter too. And sometimes if that lingers into January a certain way, it makes it difficult to keep consistency. So I didn't intentionally put those on there, but I accidentally left off the minimum days. So that was, so I will have them added for the final calendar, which right now, unless somebody from the board has a different idea, they will be placed on Fridays. But I know that in the past, there has been a discussion on what day that might be. The first page, it is identical to the San Diego Unified, with the exception of the February break that we take, which added a few days at the end of theirs. I believe they get off or get out of school, I want to say on the 21st, and it pushed us to the 28th. Then the second calendar is just a week later start than that. Pretty much doing the same thing. This one, I think the first calendar has 181 days. The last two have 180 days because they kind of just ended on a Friday that way. And then the option C is a 2-week later start. I didn't think we wanted to go earlier, because if we go any earlier, we would be starting at the beginning of August, which would mean teachers were back here at the end of July starting to work. And so if that is an option that the board would like to see, I'm glad to make that, but I didn't feel like that was in the best interest of the school, so I didn't create that option. So these again, these are just to kind of be reviewed, open to any notes that you guys want to email me. Also, you know, I'm gonna ask for the teachers to kind of give me an opinion of when the quarter breaks, so I can add that between now and next board meeting. Any questions on the calendars as they currently are?
Me, Buck, Val?
Nope.
Okay.
Open enrollment occurs this month on January 26th. OTA will open enrollment for the 26-27 school year, which I think sounds crazy even to say at this point. Open enrollment will remain open until March 20th. Returning students will have open enrollment from January 26th to February 6th. That reasoning behind that is because we need to know who's coming back, so we know how many spots that we're actually putting in the lottery.
Repeat
That are
date
open.
again, please, those dates for the.
Returning.
students.
Returning is January 26th through February 6th. Complete new enrollment is January 26th through March 20th, with the lottery being conducted on the morning of March 27th. And this is a change. Normally we do this end of day on March 27th. We are going to do it at 8 a.m. in the morning on March 27th this year, because what has happened in the past is open enrollment happens, the lottery happens, we close down the school and go home for the weekend. We get all these calls and nobody to answer them until Monday. So we want to be here to field those calls all day on Friday so that we can help boost that lottery enrollment. Any questions on open enrollment? Okay, and then the final thing I have on my list is we are starting the charter renewal project. This is with the goal of having a charter renewal submitted in the month of July. So in order to do that, we need to do kind of a backwards planning. And we need to figure out what type of team that we want to have represented on this charter renewal. I'm gonna leave this as a joint decision. I would really like the board input on what you guys think with this. But I would like, my thought process is the committee would be between about 5 to 7 members. Would have board members, school members, and parents on it. And would like to kind of divide that up semi-evenly amongst those so that we can start to create this.
Well, Bob says we just put it in the copier and then. What?
I'm with Bob.
Yeah.
We just print that piece and move on.
What I would like to see is, and maybe you two can collaborate on this, is, what's the task list look like? What's involved? What are the things that have to happen? The documents that have to be created, kind of a skeleton of an outline of the project.
Yeah, I can, Bob and I can put this together.
Oh, yeah.
One thing
That's easy to do.
one thing I would say with that is it is, every charter I've seen kind of flows the same way. So it's the same type of stuff. A lot of the stuff will be stuff that is kind of regurgitated and sent back to the printer because, unless things have changed in our handbook in certain areas, our mission statement, all those things are the same. You mentioned earlier talking about the dashboard data. That's a requirement within the charter renewal. So we have to, we literally take snapshots from the dashboard and place them in as pictures anyway. So all that is going to be juiced in there. So
Okay.
Bob and I can do that. What I would like is my goal would be to have this committee formulated by the next board meeting. So that we can at least identify who those individuals are and we can get to work. I am asking the public, anybody who would like to be part of the charter renewal team, send me an email, send Mark as the president an email so we can kind of get that list going. Same goes for the board. I know Bob has already reached out, shared that he would like to be on it. Clearly, I want to be on it. That's 2 of the 5 to 7 that we're looking at. So
is there is the deliverable a big notebook with paper?
I believe it goes as a PDF digital document to them, but the final copy for us will look like what you're describing.
How often does this happen?
Well, I believe it happens every 5 years, but it was
5 years.
extended 2 additional years because of COVID for us. So we've been living under the same one for 6, well, I think this is actually this is our 6th year we're in right now. Because our charter renewal isn't actually due this summer, or it's due this summer, but it's not actually up for renewal
Till
until
next year.
the
Right.
following summer.
Right.
But it's my understanding from a conversation with Mark that it's
Yeah.
about a 6-month process for them to review and go back and forth and get things in place. So we want to be ahead of that curve, with hopefully finalizing everything by, before this point next year.
Okay,
Can you just repeat back? You said you'd like to have that committee formulated by.
The next
The
board
next
meeting.
board meeting.
I would like to be able to announce who's on that committee so that if there are, public members that want to, share their input with whoever's on the committee, so that way there's representation there.
Thank
Good.
you.
Good.
Any questions on anything from my board report?
Don't think so. Okay, can I get a motion? First of all, does anybody need to pull anything out of the consent agenda to vote separately? Every director has that ability. And see none of that, then can I get a motion to pass the consent agenda? A motion.
I move.
Second.
She good at that.
Any discussion? on anybody? Actually, on the consent agenda, you don't do that. All right, Bob,
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
That's all. Okay, that's passed.
You got
You
down.
know-
Oh, I did. I'm, okay,
I'm here now.
on my printer are 3 pages with all the officers and yes, no, and abstain that I was gonna give to you.
Yes. if
Cause I
you want
need that, obviously, very obviously, yes, okay, good. Any new business? Anybody have?
I just have one clarification on the elections. I was putting all the dates in and it said, our nominations close on February 24th. Are we gonna do a date to announce that nominations are open? Did we decide on that?
Yeah,
date?
no, they don't. Let's see. What I wrote down, a little different. I wrote down that, we open the nominations at the 25th,
Oh, that's, they were opening them?
opening on the 25th.
Okay, I thought that was the day that we were closing them, cause that's when they're
Oh,
coming.
oh,
to
Yeah, that's the
No,
way
you're
I
right,
remember
you're right.
it too.
You're right. That's when we were talking about having people come and
Yeah.
introduce themselves. Then why don't we say, the problem is that that's the approval of the elections policy will happen at that meeting. Or not.
Can't we just announce that we're going to have,
Could we not open nominations on February 2nd? That would give 24 days.
But they don't know what, see, the problem is that we need to put out what the positions are as part of this, so,
Even a number, like how many positions?
yeah.
Well, that would be your guys' decision.
I know,
There's
and that-
many spots.
That's the policy and the bylaws all meshed together, so I think maybe we're being a little ambitious to try to get things done by, the 13th.
well, we can have the nominations open on the 25th and then we could have them closed by March 1st and then.
Well, what did you guys write down? Cause I've got, an election,
I wrote down that nominations would be complete on 5 PM, February 24th, so that they could come to the February 25th board meeting if they wanted to and talk. And then the vote would happen on March 13th and close at 5 PM, or the election would be open.
well, that's what we voted for, so that's what we're gonna stick with.
So it comes back to her question, what day would nominations open?
Well, and there's nothing to say that we can't.
I mean,
I mean, they technically could open up right now.
Right now.
You could open them up right now, as far as that goes.
Sure,
well, are we just, are we posting something like, we're having an election?
Yeah.
Nominations are open. We don't know how many there's going to be, but
Right,
we'll soon.
right.
Well, you can easily say we anticipate this number as a minimum with a max of this number of the positions that will be
Mhm.
open, and it will be decided at, I mean, they'll know at this board meeting.
So do we wanna make a good announcement?
Mark, you look stumped.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, think through.
Can we make that announcement before you finalize on the 25th?
Sure. And then we'll, on the 25th, that's when, because we'll have okay, that works, because we'll have the policy out there before the 25th for review.
Yep.
So people will see what we're talking
72
about.
hours ahead.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, that works.
So
That's
when
what
do
we
the
voted
nominations
for.
open? Are they open now? And if so, I can put it in my newsletter on Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What we need is a mechanism to take them in, though.
Yep, I mean, I can take in nominations as far
Okay.
as that goes. I just, at this point, I don't wanna be in charge of the voting process. I don't wanna be in charge of that unless I got to.
No, no, no. Well,
I don't wanna leave that
I
with
think
you
either
guys.
one of us.
Do we know what we used?
Well,
Daniel Wang is the person to reach out to.
when I was director of IT before, we had a thing online where you could go online and nominate yourself or nominate somebody else.
Is it like Survey Monkey?
No, it was a form that because the website used to be native WordPress, and I just built a form on the website.
Well, the nomination.
And we link
usually
that
be
to- we link
Google
that-
Forms, that's easy.
Yeah.
We linked that to
But the
mailing list.
actual elections, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
it was, the nominations definitely were Google Forms.
Yeah, that's
So
easy.
that's an
Okay.
easy one. We can set that up.
All right, good.
For all I know, I may have access to the past document where I can pull it and
Okay.
update it anyway.
Okay,
So I can take care of the nomination.
we just need to make sure that there's that when somebody puts their name in, it stays in, that we're not losing data or anything.
Yeah, no, I'll get it to you, by the end of the week for your approval, so that way you can
Okay.
just, since this is your guys' area.
Okay, all right.
In the interest of promoting that the nominations are open, are you or is your team still have access to the text, the mass text that could go out as well?
You're talking about through Edio?
Yes,
Yeah, we can still do that.
okay, I think that would be a
Yeah,
good
we can
idea.
drop an announcement through.
I agree with that. That's a good idea.
Yep.
That's a good idea. Cool.
Okay.
Things are happening fast. Okay. With no new business, we have a closed session to go into for a few minutes. Not longer than 15, I hope.
Thank.
Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. We're coming out of closed session. We have nothing to report at this time. The meeting is adjourning at 7:32.